Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and this is the second take of this video because goddamn it, I'm here taking a look at Sword Art Online Hollow Realization, because, well, I have to at some point, don't I? Let's go have a look. So, I've got about it says 5 hours in the game so far, but when I tried to do the last take, I was at 4 hours, so, yeah. If you're wondering, it's about 4.5, more or less. We'll go have a look at the options real quick. We've got a ton of different volume sliders here, which is nice. You can turn on Kirito's voice in the sections where they're just 2D talking art at each other, which is nice. I kept it turned off so I didn't have to listen to it, but I've got it turned on for the purpose of demonstration here. There's a first-person camera, but it's useless because it turns really slowly and you can't speed it up. You've got a bunch of camera options here, including camera lock assist, which does nothing as far as I'm aware. I have no idea how this works. I have tried it on and off. I can't figure out what it does. Partner lock on, don't know why you'd ever turn that off. Just some minimap options here. There's a battle log, but the way that text is displayed on it, there's no word wrap and everything goes off to the side. So there's no point in turning this on. If you want to see what's on the battle log, you might as well just hit start and have a look. And cutscene subtitles, which I don't know why you'd ever turn this off because the entire game's voice is in Japanese. The whole voice cast is Japanese and there's 0 point in turning the subtitles off. So we'll just hit continue right here. There's no save files, unfortunately. So we'll just be put straight into the main hub area of town. Loading times are okay, not great. Also, I'm with Philia, because that's where I was at the end of my last take. So here we are in town. Now, there are a couple of things you can do in town, like one, have one of the girls follow you around. Hello, Philia. You can hear some of the voice acting there. You can have distractions. You can have discussions with the main girls and the guys and the stuff like that, but for some reason, it just cuts out halfway into the discussion and then just ends it with a little bit of a, just an up in their liking of you, which is weird. You can also do things like hold hands, Princess Carrie, take them back to your room for private discussions. Yes, private discussions, just like in the last two games. So, it's got all that going for it. There's also this affection system here, which is kind of neat. So it actually tells you how likely they are to do specific things as their AI, or at least as far as I can tell, that's what that's meant to be anyway. It's also got their different abilities and stats and stuff like that on the right and down the bottom there. So you can just determine, you can just set what they're most likely to do in both their individual skill and their general attack patterns, which is actually kind of nice. And you can get that all set up nice and easy like. There's a bunch of things you can do in town. Like, for example, there's a blacksmith here that we can talk to. And the blacksmith can both enhance weapons and transform them into new forms, depending on whether or not you've got the materials. So, for example, if I wanted to upgrade these boots, I could do that, and they'd get extra defense. Sometimes you can also do things like add extra effects. And somehow he failed that with a 70% chance, you useless bastard. But yeah, that's how that works. There's also item shops and stuff hanging around town, and for some reason you can't move onto that little animation you can barely see is done. You've also got item shops, obviously. Bunch of stuff that you can come and buy here. Nothing out of the ordinary. Same thing with weapons and armor and food and just other item types. There's nothing really that important going on. Now, there's someone I actually want to find if I've got the event going for it. Okay, Asuna is wandering around town, so I'm gonna have to ask you to... leave, just in case she gets pissed. I'm not entirely sure how it would work if I run into her while there's someone else being dragged along, but we'll see if we can get that done. So, we're gonna have to split up for now, unfortunately. The art's nice. All credit to them for that. The art is actually pretty good. So let's go and see if we can find Asuna and just have a look around town at the same time. There's not really that much to see, actually. There's a quest board here, and there's a bunch of different quest boards around the place, but they all give you the same quests. And there's a bunch of different quests, but they're all basically the same thing, right? Let's just see, for the purpose of demonstration, just how many quests I can actually get. But yeah, all the quests are the same thing, basically. It's either collect items or kill enemies, and you'll get different rewards for each. And it's always better, for some reason, to go for the item collecting quest. They always get you more money. I'm not entirely sure what the deal is with that, but that's just the way things are. So there you go. Apparently you can get an absolute ton of quests at one time, which is pretty neat. Look at how many quests I'm able to get. I've already got like 10, so what's the upper limit? I have no idea, but there you go. I'll just stop there. Yeah, like 54 quests right now, so if they actually do trigger while I'm out there, great. But all the quests are basically the same. Either kill enemies or collect items, and you can get the items via... That's not a Suna. Vita is pretty impressive, though. You can get items by either finding them on the ground, finding them in chests, although finding them in chests is more like just finding equipment and stuff like that. And, brain work with me here. And I'm just killing enemies and having them drop randomly, which is how pretty much everything works. So let's see if I can fight Asuna. The annoying thing is all the NPCs don't actually load in for some time after you've loaded a part of the level. So yeah, looking around for people when it takes a few seconds for everybody to load in is the most annoying thing in the world. And yes, I do want to find Asuna and talk to her, because the way this shit works is that since there's only one save file and it's autosave, I can't like set up my saves in such a way that I can just wander into an area, find someone, then reload my save and go straight to that area and talk to them again, and it's annoying as hell. So we've got 2 people that we're meant to find around here, so hopefully we'll be able to find one of them and have a bit of a dialogue scene going. There are these scenes that are like that, and I can at least let you hear some of the voice acting, although it's Sword Art Online voice acting. So if you've played Sword Art Online before, you know exactly what what you'll be getting. So there you go. Question is though, am I going to be able to bloody find anyone? Oh, here we go. Here's Asuna. Alright, so hello. Let's have a discussion, shall we? If I can remember what the auto button is. There's no auto button. Shit.
もちろん OK だ。せっかくだしみんなも誘ってやろうか。それはダメなの？ダメって？このクエストは2人パーティー限定で。なら仕方ないか。それでどんなクエストなんだ？基本的には素材を集めて特別なアイテムを作ってもらうクエスト。お互いの名前が刻まれたアクセサリーが手に入るんだって。へえ、名前入りのアクセサリーか。割と性能がいいのか。性能は全然弱いよ。じゃあなんでそれが欲しいんだ？もう大事なのは性能じゃなくて名前が刻まれるってところ。名前が刻まれるところ？そっか。だから2人パーティー限定。
You get the idea. It's Sword Art Online level writing, and there are tons of these conversations. You can find them just by wandering around town. There's an absolute ton of different interactions, all the different characters. Seriously, I've seen screenshots where there's like 15 events ready to be found in town, which is insane. And of course, there's the ability to raise your affection level with them and eventually just... Yeah, there's tons and tons of this stuff to do. And that's pretty much all this area is useful for. Because since you can do all your shopping, except for maybe the blacksmith that's around here, in the main area, unless you're actively going for these events, you don't really need to step outside the Teleport Gate Plaza. So we're just going to go back to the Teleport Gate Plaza. And I'm going to do all the menu diving and shit before we actually go and hop into the level, because, you know, that's just the way I like to do things. And then we can... Like, I actually did it really well in the previous one. Like, I managed to get all my menu diving done in 10 minutes, and we're hitting the 10-minute mark, and I haven't even started the menu diving stuff yet. So, It's alright. There's not actually that much to talk about. So, we've got a pretty simple set of menus here. You've got equipment, and it works pretty much exactly as you'd expect. You find items out in the world, or you buy them, and you can equip them. It makes perfect sense, does it not? And you can you equip items to your party members? I don't think you can, but that's alright by me anyway, mainly because I prefer just having my own equipment to myself, thank you very much. And of course we've got charms. I really should put one of those on. And of course you've got your weapon. And you can have multiple different kinds of main weapons, and I've got a really good katana here, but I don't actually wield katanas, which is annoying, but well, I might show it off later, but for now we won't bother with it. Your skills. This is where things get interesting. So, every individual weapon has both a skill level, and when you level up you get skill points, and you can spend your skill points in order to unlock different skills. So, for example, I've got the katana here, and I've unlocked one or two here, but if I go down to the very bottom where the spears are, I've unlocked a bunch of stuff here. So if I was at level 250 for the spear, which is actually quite close, I could unlock Sonic Charge with 7 skill points. And you get skill points as you level up and stuff like that. I should really turn this down a little bit. Okay, so you've got, you've also got skills that are just outside of these trees, which are like buffs and stuff like that. So yeah, Mindstorm, SP regen plus 180, that's actually pretty useful. And we've also got our EX skills. Now, our EX skills are interesting, because you can have one of them at a time, and they are all based around playing around that specific type of character. So for example, Buffer, there's also Healer, which is my main one, which is up here. And you've also got things like Attacker, Tank, God damn it, that's pretty much it. But yeah, you've got all of this stuff here. I'll get onto the palette shortly, and it all makes sense. And you've got plenty of stuff to like grind for and stuff like that, obviously. So there you go. Oh, SP regen's 300 over 60 seconds. Oh no, I've got 600 over. Oh, 30 seconds. Okay, that's actually pretty neat. So yeah, you know how that works. Now, the palette here is interesting because you've got a bunch of different places you can equip skills. You've got your main palette, which you access by pressing select, and you've got 6 of these, like any other particular MMO. You've also got your triangle and your circle buttons. However, you can press triangle just the ones to have one, or if you move the analog stick forward once or twice, or if you spin it around, you can do a second, third, and fourth ability. However, this is actually really unreliable, so I don't do it very often. It's kind of difficult to tell when you're going to do one thing instead of another. Like, it would be useful if the on-screen display actually showed you what move you're about to do. That would be kind of nice. There's a lot of individual niggles with this game, and we're going to get onto them as we get into the actual level. You can also come down here to do your sub-palette, and your sub-palette is accessed by pressing L and holding L and pressing the D-pad or the face buttons. However, if you have an ability on the same button as your dodge button, because you can actually remap your controls, if you have an ability on your sub palette on the same thing as the dodge button, it won't be usable. So just be careful about that. And of course, you've got ways to order your friends around as well. Most of them are pretty useless, but there are 2 that are very useful, which are use skills and switch, which we will get onto shortly. Items, pretty much what you expect. Consumable, you can add them to your palette. Map, pretty much what you expect. You can have a look around, see what all the active quests are at the moment. And, so yeah, see what all your active quests are. And just see what there is to do, you know. And see where all your teleport stones are. Your quests are where this stuff all is. And you can check what you need to report and what you've got. Your friends list is where you come to select your party members. And you can select your party members by pressing the L button and taking them along with you. And you can also get mail from them, but it's all story relevant, except it's not really story relevant because it's not, I haven't actually gone very far in the story yet, because again, 4 hours. Buff list, about what you expect. Event list lets you see what you need to get done in both your main quest and if there's someone here who wants to talk to you. You've got your combat log, which is about what you expect. And you've also got your text chat, which you can activate here. And also your quick commands. Good for multiplayer. Notably, I haven't actually unlocked the multiplayer yet, so I can't tell you what that's like, but they got it right in 2 games. I don't know how they could screw it up for this one. you've got your options. You can come here to set your controls, and tutorial, which will tell you a bunch of things, including remind you what your controls are by default. And you can also see a bunch of extra tutorials that they won't show you in the main game. And of course, logout will actually quit the game for you, but then again, I don't know why you do that. The game autosaves, you can just close it. So, let's actually hop into the game now. Thankfully, that menu dive only took 5 minutes. Now, we can hop into the world map from here, and we can head to our teleport stone. So, let's head to the... Alright, well, let's head... Shit, where was I previously? Yeah, probably the Safinistrium Gorge, whatever. So, yeah, this is the fourth take now of this combat. Yeah, jump cut. So, yeah, third or fourth take. Imagine that. This is starting to get really on my nerves, I gotta say. But anyway, please tell me I'm in the right place this time. Yes, okay, so, let's go. Let's try and talk about this combat system one last goddamn time. So, this is the main part of the game. You wander around these huge dungeons, which you can't get around very fast, by the way, and attempt to fight off monsters and find items and stuff like that, and, you know, go through the story stuff. Thankfully, I'm doing an area I've basically already cleared, so we can just, you know, go about this however we feel. So, let's go and just have a look around, shall we? But let's actually get into some combat, just so you don't spend too long watching me run around. So, here's how the combat works in this game. You have your main attack button on square, and your pallets can also be assigned to special moves. You do also have a special ability that will trigger at the end of your melee combo, basically no matter what. And every time you hit a regular attack, you will get a little bit of a combat multiplier. That's a really bad place for that thing to spawn. Every time you hit them, you will get an up of the combo multiplier. And the higher that is, the more damage you do, obviously. So, obviously getting this as high as possible is fully within what you want to get done. Perfectly reasonable, right? I'm gonna head up this way to this chest because chances are there's a powerful monster guarding it. Or at least some decent monsters guarding it. So... Oh great, I'm poisoned. Alright, hang on. I'm gonna throw out a few buffs just while I'm here. There we go. So, as I was saying, you get combo by hitting multiple hits, and you can step out of the way, and if you step out of the way and hit the enemy at the right time after they let out their special ability, you can get tons of extra damage going. There is also the ability to order your party members to use skills. And these skill combos, if you do multiple combos all at once, stop running into the fucking wall. What are you doing? Do something! Jesus Christ. So, the way this works is that if you get multiple of your party members doing combos at the same time, you will get more damage out of each individual attack, which is all the better. So yeah, we just killed all those enemies there, so we get to get what's in this chest, which is an item, which is okay, I guess. Better heal up. So, is this the way can I go this way? I think I can, yeah. So, the way that whole system works is that the basic idea is that you constantly have to be throwing out things like special skills and all that, because if you don't, then that means you will end up just not doing as much damage as you possibly could. So trying to get as many skill chains as possible in is the way of the game. However, this kind of annoys me because this means the battles go down the same way pretty much every time if you know what you're doing at the very least. Avoid their attacks, get a couple of good skills in, chain it together with all your party member skills, and that's pretty much it, really. Like, that's pretty much all there is to do. The weapons do not change. Like, you do have different special attacks that do have different passive abilities on them, but for the most part, they don't really change, like, in the slightest. I'm just wandering up north so that I don't spend too long just working my way through trash mobs. Bugger it. I'll attack you just while I'm here. And the way this works is that it's just annoying because you have to just be constantly doing the same thing. And considering that the weapons don't change anything at all, they're all the same, really. They might have different startup times on their attacks, but other than that, it doesn't really change anything except how fast you can move. So it's really just mashing the square button until you've got a good opportunity to hit the triangle button. And that's kind of annoying, honestly, just because it just makes the entire gameplay feel entirely similar. This is not helped out by the fact that the AI is entirely stupid. It can do some really dumb things. Like, if there's a very clear and obvious AoE effect on the ground that will very badly hurt your friends if they stand in it, they will stand there. They are more than willing to just stand there. There are some individual commands you can feed your allies, but they don't work. Like, I tried to get my healer to heal me by giving out the heal command. Wouldn't do it. Not entirely sure why. The only useful commands are the ability to switch, which will get them off you, or on you, depending on the situation, or using skills, which will hopefully start off an attack chain that you can do some massive damage with. And that is the most frustrating thing of all. Because it feels like a waste of a potentially good system because you just do the same thing over and over again. And it's really annoying, honestly, because it just feels like a waste of time trying to get your AI to do what you want them to do. And there are a couple of other things, like in the menu video I did show off how you can modify your people's like combat tendencies. Well, here's how you do it. With your allies, you can praise them to get them to do specific things. However, it is very hard to tell, A, who's doing like what ability, and B, like, you have to lock on to individual... Oh, shit. You have to lock on to individual... No, fuck this. I've run into this problem before. Let's just fucking leave. This happens a lot. The weird thing is the level balancing in this game is entirely off. Like, a level 15 nameless monster that I was a level 10 at the time, I was able to wipe the floor with it. You know what? Fuck it. We'll go after this one just so you don't have to spend too long waiting for me to actually find something. A level 15 monster, I was able to wipe the floor with it. A level 14 monster wiped the floor with me. And the level ranges for these areas aren't very specific. So you spend an absolute ton of time trying to, just hoping against hope that you haven't fucked up and wandered into an area with, like, freaking... What's the word I'm looking for? You haven't wandered into an area with massively overpowered enemies. It's really frustrating sometimes. And then again, you can actually face enemies that have red names, because if you get a good attack chain in and maybe get a stun or two, then you can just, like, take them out really easily. And it's just really weirdly unbalanced. I just fell down here. I have no idea. Oh, no, that's how you get back up. Don't want to jump down in there, but yeah, there's an invisible wall there that'll prevent me from doing that, which is kind of nice, but also kind of pointless. And there's just a bunch of weird situations like that you can run into, and it's annoying as hell. And here comes some AI, so we can actually use this AI to help us out, which is kind of nice. So we'll just attack the Lizard King while we're here. And it doesn't actually show you what all their attacks are gonna do. So I'm not entirely sure, like, what the point of, well, I mean, yeah, the enemy can attack, obviously. You know, it doesn't need to have a bloody thing going on where you can see what absolutely every attack is going to do, sure, but the game's performance isn't great. I mean, it's pretty obvious throughout this entire video that the performance of it hasn't been something very useful at all, right? So it's just annoying because have basically no control over the game's frame rate, and when you lose the frame rate, the game becomes less responsive, which is the most infuriating thing in the world for a game where you have to time your attacks properly, because you can't, of course you can't time your attacks properly if the frame rate has hit the ground. So that's the most annoying thing in the world, honestly. In case you're wondering what we're doing right now, this is a an event fragment, where if we do the goal, which is almost always kill all the enemies, we will get a small amount of XP, some items, and just some stuff like that to work with, right? Oh god almighty, she's dead already? And the AI won't actually go and pick your friends up, so I have to go do it for them. And I just took massive amounts of damage doing that in the process, so let's just heal up who we can get healed up just while we can. Looks like the NPCs are fucked off, so chances are we're gonna get absolutely annihilated on this, but that's just what happens. The NPCs are just standing there. I legitimately don't understand what the hell is going on. It's just... The AI is a massive pain in the ass to deal with. It really is. It's the dumbest thing in these games. Yeah, they're actually competent in, flippin' Hollow Fragment and even Lost Song. But in this game, they just suck. And it's one of the most annoying things about playing this game, honestly. Alright, I better take the opportunity to get Straya back up. So you've got a chain system that is a bit of a pain in the ass to work with. You've got AI that's stupid. You've got weapons that are very varied because all the weapon skills and stuff are pretty much the same, more or less. It's just generally, some of them will let you move faster, some of them will do more damage. You get the idea. Where's the other? Oh no, she's the only one that's down, so but get in there and get a little bit of healing and get Straya up. You've got AI that's a bit stupid and combat that's a bit weirdly balanced between the idea of just a sort of action RPG and just a sort of RPG where you spend an absolute where you just do an absolute ton of things like abilities and stuff like that. There are a couple of other things that are annoying as well. Like, for example, you've got the lock-on system. And when we're done here, I'll be able to show that off a little more. But the thing about the lock-on system is that it's on this absolute tiny button that's really hard to tap for the most part. Like, it's really hard to just press it when you really want to in the middle of something like a fight. Because it's such a small button, you need to be really precise about it. We leveled up. That's actually kind of nice. So I can actually go and kill off the final cave lizard now, which is nice. Last time I tried something like that, I failed miserably. So again, it's just a weirdly unbalanced numbers system going on here. Hang on. Heal everyone, just to be safe. But yeah, if I lock onto this lizard here, say I wanted to lock onto the other lizard, I can't. I'd have to turn off the lock-on, get close enough to the other cave lizard, and then press the lock-on button again. It's really annoying for a lock-on system. It works against pretty much any kind of lock-on system that I've seen in any game. And it's just the most annoying thing in the goddamn world. Okay, so we completed the event and we get... What do we get? A pittance of XP and some upgrades. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much exactly what to expect from this sort of game, honestly. Just heal everybody up before we move on. And I've got a bunch of buffs I can cast again. The entire game is just this weird set of niggles working together in the gameplay, and it's really annoying at times because you can tell that when the frame rate stays solid and you're actually having a good fight, you can tell that there's some potential here, but then the frame rate drops or the AI does something really stupid, or any one of 100 like tiny minor niggles to the combat system happens, and it just gets really annoying really fast. And I just wish that it was different. I really do. Like, I wish they had the opportunity to patch it. But the thing is, they do. Because they have an absolute... They have lots of DLC coming, for one. They've got a free DLC pack, and then they've got 3 paid DLC packs coming. So, they've got plenty of opportunities to patch this. They've got opportunities to patch the frame rate. They've got opportunities to patch the weapons to help them feel a little bit different. They've got opportunities to do everything. So, who knows? Maybe in a few months this video will be completely irrelevant. But, you know, this might just be wishful thinking, but there you go. So, let's do this. Apply all my healer buffs and just get into the fight here. This is another named monster, so we have to try and do as much damage to it as we can. But it does have some very dangerous attacks, so I gotta try and, like, stay out of the way. But, again, it is kind of hard to tell just what the hell, or who the hell it's going to attack. I mean, obviously there's a target there, but you don't know when it's going to bother throwing out its attacks, and as you can see, it's actually spawned extra monsters. If I wanted to lock onto those monsters, I'd have to break my lock onto this thing, and then try and lock onto everything else. So, yeah. Also, this thing is a monster. What the hell is going on? I swear these things get more and less, like, capable as time goes on. It's annoying. And they just want... Look at them. They're just running around. Most annoying thing in the world, isn't it? So, it's just, again, as I said before, it's just a series of minor niggles. The outside of combat system with all the relationship stuff and all that, that works fine for the most part, but as soon as you get into battle, having to individually praise people, like, I'm pretty sure I talked about that in the previous take, so I don't know if I've talked about it already in this take, but just in case I missed it, you have to praise people individually in order to get them to stay focused on one particular set of what's the word? You know, their abilities or stuff like that. So praise them individually is annoying because you have to find out who's done what and whether or not they, you have to find out who's done what and then lock onto them individually and then praise them, and that's annoying. The AI just can't seem to get the hell out of... See, I just did a massive amount of damage to something I was barely dealing pittance to earlier. And you have to, yeah, it's just a whole lot of weird things just built on top of each other that just make up this entire game. And oh look, it's that same bloody katana that I've already got one of, because I already beat this boss, right? Oh, yep, it's the same katana. Except this one here is actually better, so... Wow, okay. So yeah, that's pretty much the entire gameplay in a nutshell. I haven't played the multiplayer, obviously, because I haven't unlocked it yet, which is kind of annoying. But I imagine it's just the same thing, and we've already talked about the performance and stuff like that, so... I mean, I don't really know what else to tell you. It's a series of really weird things just built on top of each other. It works okay, for the most part. Just, if they could patch the AI to be less stupid and patch the frame rate to be better... The game would be a hell of a lot more enjoyable, just in general, honestly. I don't really know why the leveling is the way it is, and I don't know why the monsters are just, like, spread out the way they are. I guess it makes things enjoyable trying to figure out, oh, I have to come back to this thing later when I'm not going to get my ass beat. But it's just a bunch of weird stuff all on top of each other, and, well, it works alright, and I mean... It might be worth coming back to once they've patched it. Maybe. As for right now, though, Sword Art Online fans only, really, or people who really want to play an offline MMO, because it does work alright in that sense. It's just, it does have all those really weird niggles that will eventually get around to annoying the shit out of people at some point in time, so, yeah. Give them the opportunity to fix some stuff and maybe it'll be well worth it. Maybe with like the season pass included or something, because again, they've got a lot of paid DLC and stuff that they're doing, so who knows? Maybe it'll be alright. Maybe it'll actually fix itself and become really good after a couple of patches. Who knows? So yeah, I can't outright recommend it to anyone who doesn't really want to play an offline MMO right now. It's done better than Lost Song at the very least, but at the same time, it's... yeah, I'd still recommend Hollow Fragment over this one just to begin with, but if they do ever get around to patching this one to be better, this one will probably be the recommend. It's disappointing that the game's performance isn't as good as it could be and that the AI is as dumb as bricks. If they fix those two things, it'll probably be worth picking up at that point. You know, minus the sort of just the Sword Art Online style story and stuff like that it's usually got going on these sorts of games. So yeah, I really don't have that much else to say about it at this point, so I'm just going to log out here. So, this has been Blue Maxima, checking out Sword Art Online Hollow Fragment. It's alright. When they patch it, hopefully it'll get better. I'll see you all next time.